right to a leap. Good combination. Now watch this combination. From the leap, right to a back dive with a full twist and straddle down.
Score, 9.7. Ron Kusia from China, our final performer in the second rotation. She's ready to mount the beam.
Watch closely throughout this routine how precise all the positions are, even in the air. Even in the most difficult elements, toes are pointed, legs are straight.
Good save.
Very, very impressive. And she's done that a number of times in this routine. But they're so subtle. Little break there. A lot of pressure on the Chinese. They already have one fall. All the other gymnasts must hit. Nice routine.
Juan earns a 9.675, and that moves her into third in the all-around, just behind Dawes, with Piscoon leading after 2 rotations. In the team battle, China has taken the lead.
And we'll be back with
Back in the Valley of the Sun in the Hilton Gymnastics Challenge, we're halfway through the 4 rotations. After the first 2, our leaders in the all-around are Elena Piscoon from Belarus and Dominique Dawes, followed by China's Juan Kusia. The team battle shows China leading the U.S. by a 1/10 of a point. Mark, Kathy, and I are privileged to be joined now by what is most likely the most popular gymnast on the face of the planet, Nadia Comaneci. Thank you for stopping by.
Happy.
You've been following the sport of gymnastics very closely recently. What do you think of what you see now, and then particularly out of Dominique Dawes?
Well, actually, for the couple of years, I've been very impressed with Dominique's exercises, and she's a very talented girl, and she's very powerful. She has a lot of difficulties. She's still progressing and put a lot of difficulties in every competition as we see her, and she's constantly the best one that we have. We're getting ready to see the balance beam competition, and Nadia, most people who are not gymnasts think the balance beam is the hardest and the scariest, but it's really the easiest to do, but the hardest to master and compete. Well, thinking about Dominique, I mean, we know that balance beam is the hardest event, and it's the easiest one to make a mistake. And Dominique, I've never seen her making a mistake on the beam. She feels like she's on the floor. She's very comfortable. She has a lot of difficulties in the routine, and I don't think she's going to make any time of mistakes on that event.
Well, Nadia, let's watch Dominique on the beam.
This is a critical event for both Dominique in the all-around. She's 0.05 of a point behind Elena Piscoon, but also the American team. They already have a fall on beam, and you're allowed to drop 1 score and count 3.
Even though it's somewhat of a clutch situation, you never expect Dominique Dawes to water down.
This is her most impressive pass, and her trademark is relay out, step out. It's amazing because she's not a short gymnast. She's pretty tall, and how she can put together 4 moves on the beam. So aggressive on the landing. You can really see the different levels of experience in this competition. We saw earlier Tarasevich miss a landing on a skill that she really had made. And Dominique really goes for all of the landings.
And this is a beautiful dismount pass.
And very difficult.
Two back handsprings, full twist and double back.
And she landed. Excellent. I think that the coaches didn't teach her how to make a mistake on that event. She doesn't know yet that.
Nice to have you with us, Nadia.
Thank you very much.
Well, few gymnasts would know more about perfection than Nadia Comaneci. Now, normally you would expect some inconsistency on this dismount. It's the most difficult one you can do, and yet Dominique Dawes never, ever misses it. She's amazing.
The awesome Dawson earns a 9.8, and that puts her in a position to take the lead in the all-around. China leading in the team competition after 2 rotations. Their competitor on floor, Hei Shumei.
And we've seen their beautiful work on the balance beam and the uneven bars. This typically is their weak event as a team. They're not as strong and powerfully built, and their tumbling suffers just a little bit.
Oh.
Open with a 2.5 twist. Tried a triple turn, didn't quite make it. Just a little sluggish going into this last pass. She pulled it out.
As much mastery as we saw from the Chinese gymnasts on the bars and on the balance beam where their technique is impeccable, they really lack power here, and you'll notice she makes a critical mistake on this 2.5 twist. If she's over-rotated, she could just step forward. If you're under-rotated, there's little you can do.
Hei Shumei's routine receives an 8.8. On beam from Cincinnati, Ohio, the 17-year-old Amanda Borden is in 4th place after 2 rotations. Wants to move up into those medals.
And this is another key event, not only for Amanda, but for the U.S. as well. They could take advantage in this rotation with the Chinese. Oh, no. The Chinese on floor exercise where they're weak. The Americans come up with strong routines on the balance beam. They could move ahead again. She's off to a shaky start. Very difficult when you start off a little shaky to really get it back in line.
Does confidence play a major role in balance?
Huge role. Sometimes you can reel yourself back onto the balance beam even though a slight mistake has been made. This is just disastrous for Amanda. She really had an opportunity to do well in the all-around. With big implications for the U.S. team as well. This will be tough to come back from.
3 of the 4 American scores will be counted towards the team total.
And unfortunately, they're going to have to count a low score.
We noticed right from the start of the routine that she was shaky and she started second-guessing herself. This is a difficult move, but one that you don't expect to fall like that from Amanda Borden.
Borden gets an 8.925. The leader throughout the competition in the all-around points total, Elena Piscun, who's just a bit ahead of Dominique Dawes after 2 rotations.
This is the best competition I have seen Elena have, ever. She had troubles at the European Championships and at the World Championships in the all-around.
She really seems to be nailing all her landings.
Very easy to spot the gymnast that wants to win. No movement whatsoever. Oh, pretty big step for not too big a deduction, though. She does more than she has to. This is actually her 4th tumbling pass. Oh, and she went for it all. Unbelievable level of difficulty.
Piskun gets a great score of 9.725, but Dawes' superior beam routine advances her to first in the all-around. The U.S. moves into first place in the team competition. Back in Phoenix, the stars of gymnastics are shining brightly. One of them, Elena Piskun, a former world champion in the vault, is 25 thousandths of a point behind our leader, Dominique Dawes.
She's performing the most difficult vault in the entire competition. So your double twist. Phenomenal. Excellent job on that. Since Dominique is finishing up on her very best event, she has to stick both these vaults, and she does it on the first one.
Piskun gets a 9.825 on her first vault, and again is the world champion in this event in 1993.
Where it is risky here, Dominique actually hit her first vault at the World Championships and missed on the second one. They averaged the score, so she has to hit this one. Not perfect, but it's such a difficult vault. It comes from a 10-0, and it was only the hop on the landing.
Up now on the Florex, America's Amanda Borden. Back at the vault, Elena Piskun earned a 9.837 average.
Amanda can certainly move up in the all-around here, but more important, she needs a strong performance for the U.S. team. And this is the most critical tumbling pass. An Arabian double front. Watch how difficult the landing is. Oh, and she just stays in bounds. This is a new pass for Amanda. Front with a full to a front half. Really needs a strong landing on the 2.5 twist. Comes out of a whip back. Just a slight little stumble.
Let's take a look at how close she comes to going out of bounds. She's going to step forward with her left foot and grip with her toes and keep herself from going over the white line. That's some strong toes.
Borden's floor score, a 9.8, and as Kathy said, important team points. China's 16-year-old from the Guangdong province, Ye Lin, is next on floor.